Hello, everybody. I am Marcus Carpenter. I'm part of the Bald Men of Wrestling. I'm doing a little solo thing here with this past weekend, Saturday. Let me see here. I can't even remember what the date was. The 7th. That's right. Saturday the 7th. Me and Aaron went to our first Ryse Pro Wrestling show. It's an indie fed that comes around our area. And we had a really good time. So I figured I'd do a little review of my first show for you guys. I'll post who was facing who. You guys can put images up and things that way. You guys can see who I'm talking about. Maybe look them up. Maybe try to find some little clips here and there so you guys can see what they're about. And so you guys can give your own opinions of them. Some of you might already have seen these guys around. I don't know where they've all been, things of that nature, but some of these guys I've seen before in the past and some other indie shows I've gone to, and it's been a few years since I've gone to any, and I was really glad I finally got to go to this one. And I can't wait for the next one. I'm definitely going to it. But now I'm not sure if I'm going to get the order right, because I'm doing this off my head, because I didn't really take pictures of what match. That's what I should have did, so that way I knew which order they went. But I didn't do that. I do believe, though, they started the show out with Alan Jepson. He called the Big Hurt versus Sean Phoenix. This is the Firebird. And the match was actually really good. It was really actually set the tone for the show, and the pace kept up with the match. And Alan Jepson, I was actually surprised at how agile he is. He's a bigger guy like I am, but he's actually taller than me. But he was actually pretty agile for as big as he is, and some of the stuff he did was actually amazing. Sean Phoenix blew me away though with his high flying moves and his speed and the things he could do. I loved his mask when he came out. I wish he kind of would have wore it during the match, but it was really cool whenever he that. It looked really cool whenever he came out wearing it. They went back and forth pretty good. Alan Jepson did come out into the crowd. He sat behind me and Aaron at one point while the referee was counting. And I was like, come on, man, you got to use that weight. And I went like this and rubbed my stomach. I was like, I know. And he's like, I know something about weight. You gotta use that stuff. Throw it around a bit. And Sean Phoenix ended up winning the match. It is on. You should be able to find it, I believe, on Indie Wrestling. It's like you can I think it's like a website that streams wrestling, like indie wrestling federations and stuff. But I'm not sure it costs a certain amount. But you can find this whole pay-per-view, I do believe, on there, and you can see for yourself the match and things like that, and it was really good. And I mean, I can't really go into too many details on it, but Sean Phoenix does end up winning it, and it was an amazing finish. It was very good. It was a lot of high energy for the match. Like I said, I was highly impressed for being the first match that I've seen in Ryse. It was amazing. It really, like I said, it set the pace and the tone for the rest of the matches, and the hype just kept going throughout the night. I was so excited about it. Like I haven't. It's so exhilarating to go see indie feds live. Get to see new wrestlers that you've never seen. If you've never been to an indie show, definitely go check it out. Check one out in your area. I'm sure you can look it up, find places that come around your area, and I mean, you can't beat it. The seats were $15 for general admission. For children, $8. And we were literally third or fourth row back from the ring. When I was sitting literally right next to the entranceway. Or where the wrestlers come down. So, I mean, I was right there next. And that match was followed up, I do believe, by I'm trying to think here. Who was it? I believe it was Leo. Yeah, that's what I think it was. It was followed up by Troy Lords, the Hotness versus Moriarty. My God, I can't say the word. Lee Moriarty, the apex of combat. That match was surprisingly really good. I have heard a lot of good things about Lee Moriarty, but I never actually got to see him wrestle. And I wasn't let down. They both put on a hell of a match. Troy Lords, he's a very good heel. He can actually, he gets you going. He gets the crowd going when it comes to being a heel, things like that. And Lee Moriarty didn't disappoint. His moves, his skill as a wrestler definitely was highly impressive. He's a guy. He's somebody to look for in the future. Moving forward, I'd say within the next few years, I wouldn't be surprised to see him on something on a higher stage because he's got it going. And no, that's nothing against Troy Lords. He has a lot going for him too, but he still has he has a way to go in my eyes. I mean, I'm not an expert on like wrestling talent, but to me, he's got the gimmick. He's good with the gimmicks. He's decent as a wrestler, but he just needs to. There's just some things you can see that he still kind of needs to work on. And I do believe after that, we followed it up with, it was Wes versus Ziggy. Wes Barkley versus Ziggy Haim. Alright, now when it comes to heels and I said about Troy being a good heel. Wes Barkley is one of the best heels I've seen in a long time. Like, he is a heel. There's no doubting it. The last indie wrestler I've seen that was this good of a heel was Chris LaRusso. He knows how to get the crowd going. He gets in the crowd's face. He interacts with the crowd. Like, he is very good as a heel. He knows he picks out the right people to pick at, things like that. Me and him had to go at it quite a few times. At the start of the match, whenever he came down, he was running his mouth, and I said something, and he started running his mouth at me, and he kind of got out, like, stuck part of his body out the ropes, like he's getting ready to get out, and I stood up, and he's like, "What are you gonna do?" Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Come on." I was like, "Come on." And, he's like, you gotta be glad my music's still playing. It was pretty good, though, but, I mean, he went on and on, like, throughout the match. The match was great. Ziggy Haim was, for the first time seeing both of these two wrestle, they're very good. Ziggy Haim has some good wrestling moves, like some decent high-flying stuff, hurricanranas, things like that. Wes had some really good moves. There's a lot of back and forth in it. And, my biggest thing, though, like, whenever he came out, the one thing featured on him that stood out to me, and just because it looks like a Triple H nose, was his nose. So I used it throughout the match and had the crowd going. They were laughing, things like that, and it was pretty good. And later on, we're gonna talk about that match here in a bit. But he came out with his, I don't know if they're tag partners or they're just they come out together or what it is, but Bishop, he came out with him later on, and he was coming down, and he kind of stopped and was running his mouth to me and Aaron said, I can't remember what Aaron said, but Wes was like, "Okay, whatever, Pinocchio." I was like, "You're one to talk," and I was like, boop, and I poked him in the nose, and he's like, "Touch me again," and I slapped you. I was like, "Come on." But, like, and he just, like, throughout the whole match, like, just being a heel manager, kept getting the crowd going and stuff like that, and he's a good heel, but at the same time, he was funny. And it was good. It kept everything interesting, and I really liked how he did it. But, yeah, through and through, he is one hell of a good heel wrestler. Ziggy Haim, I don't want to talk about just him. I know I'm going on about him, but Ziggy Haim, she has a lot of spirit. She's very spunky. She, like I said, she does Hurricanrana. She does this. She won the match. I mean, she won it fair and square. It was a great match. And just to see some of the moves that she can do, I was highly impressed and surprised. Her outfit caught me off guard because I wasn't really paying attention to what she was wearing when she came down. And she got down to the ring and she kind of put her hands at the end at the ring, and she had a jacket on. You couldn't see it, so you couldn't see what she was wearing on top. But her trunks, she had like and stuff down below had like this black outline stuff. But at first glance, I didn't think she. It almost looked like she wasn't wearing anything. I was like, whoa, and I was like, oh wait. Okay, then she got something on. Just couldn't. It was just first glance kind of thing. I didn't threw me off. I didn't expect her to wear something that almost skin color to her, so it kind of just caught me off guard. But once I actually saw it, it wasn't like I couldn't see it anymore. Like it was there. It was just the lighting and things caught me off guard. Like I knew she was wearing something. It caught me off guard a little bit. But yeah, her win over him was really good. I'm happy to see. That's what I like seeing in like the independent scene is you can have the intergender matches and things like that. And this match didn't disappoint. They were great. They were a great team. They worked great together. Well, I can't say sorry, not great team. They worked well together as in a match, and they fed off each other. And you could see like the chemistry was very well with them too, and I wouldn't mind seeing another match between them as like a follow up or even a tag team match because I do believe she is or was tag teaming with somebody, so I wouldn't mind seeing that match. It may have already happened and I just missed it because this is my first Ryse Pro show. So, but we're gonna move on from that. I think after that it followed up with the Drake Braddock. I think it's Drake. Yeah, Drake Braddock versus Lewis. Now I had seen clips here and there of Lewis. Lewis he plays a nerd and it looks really good. And I died because I never seen him come out or anything, and he actually comes out to Weird Al's White and Nerdy, and I lost it. I thought it was the greatest. This is the greatest thing ever. Sadly, though, it being my own first show, seeing him, it'll probably, I don't know, maybe in the future we might see it again, but it's probably going to be the last one for a while that I'm going to get to see of him wrestle, because it was a loser leaves Ryse match. And they were really good friends. I believe they were tag team partners at one point in time called Military Intelligence. And you could see, like, Braddock didn't want to do it to beat Lewis. You could see it was, like, killing him inside to do it. Lewis apparently is one of the Ryse originals, and everybody really likes Lewis, and everybody likes Drake, and the crowd kept going back and forth with them. But there was a lot of fun. Like, they had a lot of fun, you could tell, in their match. Like, at one point, because Lewis actually wears glasses, but he has, like, the tie around the back to hold him onto his head. And they got caught and pulled off his head, and Drake picked him up and kept looking at him. People were in the crowd trying to break it, and some were saying, don't, give it back. And he walked over and he set it down on the mat in front of him and backed away and let him put his glasses back on. And it was a really heartfelt moment at the end of the match after Lewis had lost. The locker room came out, and you could see, like, everybody was very upset about it. I wish I would have got to see more of him wrestle. I really do. It's kind of sad not that that was the first match I got to see of him. But from what I've seen in that match, I was highly impressed with his skills, how he was. I mean, he played the character perfectly, the nerd, as it says. And Drake Braddock, he does really good with the whole soldier thing, with the yes sir. The crowd gets involved in it, yelling yes sir and things like that. So it's really cool to see him get people involved in that. And I do hope that Lewis leaving, he's moving on to maybe some bigger federation. I don't know what he's got planned for the future, but I do wish him luck for his future endeavors. And we here at Bald Men of Wrestling hope that he's moving on to greater things. And then we went on to, I believe we had a little intermission there after that match. I could be wrong, but we moved on to the main event versus Grindhouse, which was Derek Direction and Shirley Doe. And now, main event's Gannon Jones Jr. I used to watch him for whenever he wrestled for VOW and things, and he's a pretty big guy, like tall wise. He's got some build to him. Like, he reminds me of like Booker T kinda back in the day whenever he first was in like WCW and stuff, because he has that charisma. He has that attitude. Like, he's got the talent. He's got the charisma and everything. Like, he does some pretty decent moves, and he's a pretty big guy. That was, I believe, my first time seeing his tag team partner Duke Davis wrestle, and he didn't disappoint as well. Both of them, I had said once before, like, I did see them wrestle once before. I found it was a match I saw online. I saw it, like, I didn't see the full match, but I saw part of it, and honestly, they remind me a lot of like Harlem Heat, things like that. Derek Direction, I used to watch back in VOW as well. He was always a heel. He's a very good heel. He's very good at what he does. That's the first time I've ever seen Shirley Doe. Shirley Doe, he's good. He's got the insanity mortality thing going on. His face paint's different. Like, when I first saw it, and I saw how it was, and they were just kind of showing little clips of like between the two teams, and it wasn't really showing. I didn't understand him, so because I'd never seen him before, and the face paint didn't make any sense to me, because the picture you're gonna see here, it's not like that whenever he's in the match. He's basically just got it smeared over his face, like his eyes and stuff like that, and it didn't make any sense to me. But now watching him and seeing how his character is, it made more sense to me. Like, he's just insane, so he's just rubbing paint, like the paint on his face, like he just don't care because of the insanity. And Derek Direction always made a huge impact whenever it came to being a heel, things like that, and he works the crowd so well. So it wasn't no surprise that this match right here was very, very good. It was one of the best tag team matches I've seen in a long time. I mean, next to some of the matches in AEW, this is right up there with, I'd say, the ones tag team matches in AEW, like their World Championship matches. And this was for the titles. And sadly, due to some interference, Grindhouse did end up losing. But I'm trying to think how but like it didn't take away from the match, is what I'm trying to say. So, main event still held the titles. They kept the titles, and they didn't disappoint in their match at all. So it was all around a good match, and there was a lot of back and forth, like, between the teams and stuff like that. And like I said, Derek, he did come back. He sat behind us in a chair during the match. I was like, "What are you doing? Get back in here!" He's like, "Shut up, loser!" And I always liked Derek. Derek Direction was always a good wrestler, and he's always good to talk. Like, he was nice. He was good to talk to and stuff, because he sticks with his stuff pretty good, his gimmick and everything. And because his gimmick, he used to be like really big into like old stuff, like old shows, and like Are You Afraid of the Dark and things like that. And he kind of fed off of that older, like, 90s mentality of stuff. And he still kind of does, but he's more, like, I don't know, how did you say it? He's more focused on, like, kind of like horror movie-ish with Grindhouse, it seems like. Because he comes out with that little clip thing for, like, when you're, like, action, stuff like that. Which kind of feeds onto that whole insanity. It's almost like the tag team's like a crazy horror movie, like those people are from a horror movie. So that ended up being a very good match. And main event, like I said, they ended up retaining their titles, and I can't wait to see who they face next for them. Then we moved on to a match between, I believe it was Scarlett and Honey Badger, I think was the next match. Which, that match ended up being pretty good. It was a lot of back and forth. It started out, like, you could just see that they don't like each other. It was straight up back and forth, like they wanted to hurt each other. Even to the point where the match ended up brawling to the outside of the ring. It was a double count out. They got chairs involved. A bunch of security, referees, locker room had to come out and try to break them apart. Derek Direction, of course, though, didn't help anything. He kept trying to get them free to keep them going, things like that. So that was kind of funny to see. Like they get him retained, and then next thing you know, he's pulling them free. But yeah, the match didn't last very long. They both have decent talent, and with time, I think they'll get a lot better. They have a really good thing. Like, I believe if next match they should have a like no DQ match, something like that. Let them go at it. And I think it'd be a really good match. It'd let them be who they want to be. Like the Honey Badger, the feral female, that kind of stuff. Like, just let them let loose. Let them be who they want to be. Because I believe Scarlett's supposed to be like that, almost like a demonic possessed girl by the looks of it. I could be wrong, but I think if they let them go, things will go really good. And then we moved on to Joshua Bishop versus PB Smooth. Now, Bishop this is the one where Wes came down, got with him outside the ring, getting the crowd going, things like that. But Bishop in ring, he is very, very skilled. To see him like there compared to the picture that they have, I can compare him to Brian Pillman. He has the same kind of hair, the same build, the beard's somewhat similar. He reminded me a lot of Brian Pillman. Like, just his looks and everything. And then he was very, very skilled in the ring. Pretty Boy Smooth, PB Smooth. He was very good too. He's a big, tall dude. He's like 6'9", almost 7 foot, something like that. And that was the first time I ever seen him wrestle. And he did a springboard out of the corner. I was like, you're a big man. You don't need to be doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of back and forth. I honestly thought Bishop was going to win the match, but PB Smooth did pull it out. And the whole match caught me off guard, and I was actually highly surprised in it. But both very good talents, worked well together, but in the end, like I said, PB Smooth did pull it out, which congrats to him. Great match. Now I think that's it up to the final match. I don't think I missed anything, but their main event match was for the Ryse Heavyweight Championship. It was their the Grand Championship. Their champion was Tony Johnson. He goes by they call him the Iceman, which He, I believe, is part of Main Event as a group, and he was really good. I was surprised. I'd never seen him before, never saw him wrestle. I've heard of him, but never really seen anything from him, and wasn't disappointed. He took on the team of the Privilege, which had Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and David Lawless, and the tag team side, they did good. They're very good heels. They had the general manager, I believe it is, on their side, which he appointed a referee for the match. Kicked out the referee who was originally supposed to be in the match. They went at it. They pulled off tag team moves. They had it going there for a while in their favor. Did hashtag privilege, but Tony Johnson came back, ended up pulling off two moves, getting one out of the ring, and then hitting somebody. I don't know if it was his finisher, but he should have had it won, but the referee hit two and then stopped counting because, of course, he's in the pocket of the GM and things like that. And then he ended up getting knocked down during the match, and a new referee came down and counted the pin in favor of Tony Johnson, who ended up keeping his grand championship. And of course, the GM wasn't the general manager. I believe that's who it was. He was not too happy about it. That speaking of which, the GM, if that's the general manager, that is the creepiest dude I've ever seen. I mean, he's a good heel. The way he talks is great. He's creepy as hell, though, because he wears like a suit, like a wrestling suit with a mask that has like a star on it. The suit has stars going on it. One star has like a face on it. He was followed around by this little dude in like one of them full body, so it was like a silver full body suit where you can't see the face or anything. We saw him a couple times that night, but yeah, he's followed around by that guy. I don't know who that is or what that has to do with anything. We joked around that it was that the guy in the silver thing was our buddy Teddy at the show, but we're not sure who it is or who they are because it was our first show, so we're still trying to kind of learn who's who, things like that. Overall, the show was great. I give it a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. It had, like I said, a lot of heat. It kept the hype. Everything kept going. There was there was time in between, but it was always filled with something. Like, they always had something there. There was always something going on. And I did find out while I was during an intermission that their ring announcer, who is very good, Red, he apparently was, by the sounds of it, he was a fan that started going to the shows like 2 years prior and then became their ring announcer. So I could be wrong on that, but that's what it sounded like. Which, again, I'm disappointed that I haven't gone to Ryse sooner, but I am glad that we finally got around to it, and I will start going more often. I am sad that I won't get to see Lewis wrestle anymore in that, but I do hope that we do see him somewhere else on a bigger stage, maybe. Maybe, I'm not sure what's going on, but maybe we will see him back in the future. I hope we do. I hope to see all these guys and girls again at the next show we go to. Hopefully I'm going to get to start talking to some of them and meet them. I'm going to meet them because I wouldn't mind getting to know some of them. Sean Phoenix, I really would like to meet him. He seems like he'd be a really cool guy to talk to. I should have went over and talked to Lewis and congratulated him, but of course I didn't really know him. Derek Direction, I'm going to try to talk to him a little bit. Gannon, whenever I see him, because it's been a long time since I've seen either of them. I don't even know if they're going to remember who I am. I have them on Facebook, so they may, from my picture, maybe you might recognize who I am, but I don't know. And I kind of want to meet Lee Moriarty, and I want to get more. I want to go at it more with Wes. I had such a great time with Wes, and getting to know, just going back and forth with his him being a heel and me being, and that's one thing. Like, at first I started out like I was cheering for the people everybody else was booing, because I would, and Aaron's like, everybody's gonna hate us before the night's over, and I was like, that's the point. Everybody remembers you when they hate you. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this. I hope you guys enjoy this. I know it's only a small little review. It's not going to be nothing major, but hopefully if you are from around Greene County or Fayette County, where I'm from in Pennsylvania, or even other places like around this area, because I think there's some people I've seen come down from Pittsburgh, things like that. Come and enjoy it. I know they have another one coming up in Pittsburgh. They have a show coming up. It's not this weekend coming up, but the weekend after. I'll post their little thing for it, flyer. I do believe I can get a hold of it off their Facebook. I'll post it up at the end of this video so you guys can see. If you guys are in that area, go check them out. It's completely worth it, in my opinion. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of going into it. And I think this support is something that they need and will do good with. But thank you again for tuning in. I will see you guys all in the next podcast, review, whatever we got going on. And I love you all. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like this video if you like it. Let me know. Let us know here at Bodman Wrestling what you thought down in the comments. If you have anything you would like to ever talk about, any ideas for a podcast, anything like that, make sure you leave them in the comments or send us a message. You can find us on Facebook in the Facebook group Baldmen Wrestling. We are on Twitter at Bald Wrestling, and on Instagram Baldmen Wrestling. So you should be able to find us anywhere there. Hit us up. Let us know if you have any ideas. If I would like to do also in a future podcast or something, get people involved. Let them come on, debate with us, talk about things. Even if it's through Skype, I'd like to get something going on like that. So that way you're not just getting our opinions, you're getting everybody's opinions. You're getting our viewers' opinions. And that's what we're kind of looking for, is to build that fan base, bring people in, things like that. We don't want it to just be about us where you're just listening to us talk. We want you involved. We want to hear from you. We want your opinions. We want to read through people's opinions on our video, and then maybe reiterate some stuff that we read off of that and touch on it and give our thoughts on what you had to say. So don't hesitate to drop anything. Don't hesitate to follow us. Again, see you later.